Hi, everyone. Hey, it's Paul.DiGrigoli. And boy, it's been a long haul. It's been, I shared with you 7 series of this 8 series that we plan on doing. And I know a lot of you have gone back to work. Our salon has gone back to work today for the first time. So I'm really curious to see how things go with the salon. I'm very confident in my team, and I'm very confident in the people making this work. And I know they'll make it work really, really well. And for all of you that are still working, that have gone back to work, you can go back to this video and you can go back to the 8 series again and again and again. This particular series is called Rescue, and it's just ties everything together. It's the 7 series that I'm going to tie together, some bullet points, and I'm going to talk about really what makes a stylist tick, what makes a leader tick within an organization, what makes a salon tick. And it doesn't matter whether you're a team-based salon, whether you're a booth renter, whether you're an independent contractor. We call them independent contractors. So it's going to be a big deal. So some of the things that I touched upon, some of the things I pulled out as far as rescue are going to be the driving force of successful businesses. And you can ramp it up as long as you want to ramp it up. It's entirely up to you. But you must have these ingredients to make it tick. And I don't care what business that you're in, what type of business that you're in. If you don't have these common denominators to make it all work, then something's going to fall short. We always scratch our head, and we always think about after 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 years why something didn't work, or why we couldn't make something work. If you look at all the big giants, if you look at JCPenney, if you look at J. Crew, they're all filing for bankruptcy, and you wonder why they've been around for so long. Why are they filing for bankruptcy? And I always say is that they just took their eyes off the customer, and it's one of the things that we can't do is take our eyes off the customer when it comes to success. We got to keep the ball bouncing. We got to keep the momentum going. You never, ever, ever can get complacent when it comes to running your own business. I don't care if you have one salon, or you're an independent contractor, or you have several. I mean, it's a big deal to make this work. So we're going to talk about how to start your day. I'm going to remind you how important it is to start your day. And don't forget, when you really think about it, when you start your day, there's a lot of people that don't start their day monomaniacally focused, and they don't keep their eyes on the prize. They don't do a one-page plan. They don't exercise. They have their coffee in the morning, and they get up and they just start their day just like that. I mean, this is scientific. This is something that I didn't make up, that I've been practicing my entire life, and it really, really works. Especially when it comes to water. 64 ounces of water a day, and you got to pee like crazy, and only drink natural spring water. I talk a lot about that. Okay, and then we're going to talk about the personal development component. We're going to talk about leadership, because I think leadership is the number one ingredient. And then we're going to talk about hiring. We talked about hiring before. We talked about motivation, because that's a big factor. How do you keep people motivated? And then marketing. We're going to talk a lot about marketing, because I think that's what really drives a business. And I don't think that's I think it's one of the components in the business that people really don't pay attention to is marketing. I know now they're focusing on a lot of the social media platform, and you still, in our industry, people to people is business, and we got to keep our eye on the customer. We got to still take care of the customer. Then we're going to talk about the culture of excellence, and I'm going to talk just a little bit about that. I mean, I've talked about that in my 7 series a lot when it comes to creating a culture of excellence. And then we're going to talk about customer service, because that's the key. You can always get customers. The name of the game is to capitalize on them and keep them. And then the total outlook of what you're going to see in 2020, 2021, and 2022. And don't forget, the elections are coming up in November. think there's like, I don't know, 165 more days. Could be less than that. But you're going to see a big shift when it comes to that. So when we talk about, staying in the zone and personal development, I want to remind you that, I wasn't born a leader. I had to learn leadership skills just like you got to learn. And in addition to that, I come from a very small town. I did have my first duplex when I was about 19 years old, and I did it all over, and I rented it out. And that's how I got started. That's how I became an entrepreneur. And then, I come from a long line of hairdressers within my family. A lot of you don't know that, but some of you do know that. But my sister was a hairdresser. My uncle was a barber. And I learned a lot from them, and I've learned to grow and develop and become more. And I lived at the YMCA. I used to wash my dishes in the bathtub. And I lived in a 300 square foot apartment at the YMCA. I lived there for like 2 or 3 years. But that's really how I got my start. And then, I took my first class. It was for a whole week in Santa Monica, California. I studied under everybody else, I assume. And then I did probably my 35, 40-year plan. And I followed my plan to the day, to even where I'm at my home now in Sarasota, Florida. And my businesses are up in Massachusetts. And I'm still in contact with my team and, work with my team very closely. We've got some amazing individuals that work for me. And now I'm going to venture out and I'm going to focus on my product line, which is Paul Joseph Professional. It's a hair care line. We got 7 SKUs in the line, and we're really going to take that to a whole different level. The price point is excellent. The juice in the bottle is excellent. I think the packaging is excellent. And so I'm going to focus on that. And then I'm going to write another book. This will be my second book that I wrote. And it's going to be very generic, I should say. And I think you're going to like it. It's all going to be about personal development. So, and I think one of the things, I think the most successful people that you really study are self-educated. A lot of them have a formal education. They've been to a 2-year college, or they've been through a 4-year college. And they really, my stickler on college is that if you don't really know what to do, if you have your own children, then have them go to a community college just to learn how to learn. And once you learn how to learn, then you'll take it to a whole different level. And that's one of the things that I struggled with as I moved along. I had to take a lot of notes. I still take a lot of notes. I read my book with a highlighter and with a felt pen, and I take a lot of notes, and I write and I write and I highlight and I write, and something that's really intrigued me, I'll go back and read it again and over and over again. So I want you to do the same thing. It's just habits. That's all it is. It's just habits of some of the most successful people in the world. If you study any of the successful people that you think or you feel that are successful, they pretty much have the same habits, and they have the same things that they do every single day. So self-education and formal education is a big biggie. So if you got kids that are going to go to college, or if you're going to go back to college, then just basically learn how to learn, and then you can go after whatever your heart desires, whatever you love to do, whatever you have passion for. Okay? I always wanted to be a hairdresser, and I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And you got to have both. You got to be an entrepreneur, and you got to have the strict definition of entrepreneur, and then you got to have the strict definition of a hairdresser. But sometimes you can't do both. You can't be all things to all people as well. Okay? And so, currently I run DiGrigoli Salons. I've had that over 30 years, and I've had my school for over 20 years. And I really love my students. I love my instructors. I love everybody that works in DiGrigoli Salons, my executive team. And I love all of the stylists that work for me in my salon. I mean, they're just amazing individuals, and I want to continue to give them opportunity so they can continue to grow and they can develop and they can become more, not only as a person, but financially as well. So that's really what my outlook is for DiGrigoli Salon and DiGrigoli School of Cosmetology. And then the third thing I have a lot of real estate, and I have a commercial property. So I've really diversified when it came to my career, and I hope you do the same thing. Commercial real estate is really the way to go when you have triple net leases, and you really kind of focus on it. And for those of you that want to go out and you know, learn about real estate and what's the best for you, you know, just ask me any questions that you might want to ask me. And if I don't have the answer for you, I can find the answer for you. But I certainly will help you to navigate that, especially if you're younger, a lot younger than me, to go out and invest in real estate. And then obviously the Paul Joseph professional product line, that's exclusively in salons. We're in about 45 salons right now. And everybody's asking us, you know, are we going to go on a QVC? Are we going to go on Amazon? You know, are we going to be on mass market? And the answer is no. We're going to do the best that we can do to supply all of you, all the hairdressers, when Paul Joseph Professionals. You know, you can call Judy Reel. Judy's our head of our department. When it comes to Paul Joseph professional line, the product line, she'll send you out some free samples and she'll talk to you and she'll walk you through it. But our educational program is superior once you get our package when it comes to Paul Joseph professional product line. How you start your day and how you finish your day, I think we talked a lot about this in a lot of the 7 series, and I think it's kind of important how you start your day. And I'm not really sure if some of you've got into the habit. I mean, we're already, you know, when you really think about it, we're into May 26th. We're already gone through Memorial Day weekend. And then, you know, most of you that live in the Northeast, you know, they say that by July 4th, the summer's over. And then you have July, you have August, and then you have September. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful in the 4 seasons. But I want you to take a hold of, you know, now being outside, of breathing the fresh air. There's no place that's safer than the outside. I know with this coronavirus, everything is outside. Everything is being safe outside. The park that I go to, where I ride my bike, the people are just, you know, walking around, or they're going to the park, or they're going to the swing sets, and they're doing all the different things with their children, or doing it with themselves, or they're walking around. So get outside the next 3 months as much as you can and breathe that fresh air and drink 64 ounces of water. You're going to be pleasantly surprised. You're going to think differently. Your antioxidants are going to kick in. You're going to be more focused on your business and on yourself. And don't forget, yourself is by far the most important, because without your body, without your mind, you can't execute your business. You can't execute other people. So I think that's really important. So starting right, and I'm just going to give you a quick scenario of how you start your day. I'm in the 5 a.m. club, so I get up at 5 a.m., sometimes 6, sometimes 7, but mostly I get up at 5 a.m. and drink my water. First thing I do is drink my water, and then I do my exercises, and then I go. They've just finally opened up the clubhouse here at the Artistry where I live. Just finally opened up, so I'll get back to exercising and working with the weights, and then you know, I'll continue to ride my bike. But you got to do the same thing. So you got to exercise. Only put food in your body that's going to make you grow and develop. And there's nothing wrong with having a cookie. I have cookies. There's nothing wrong with having ice cream. I have ice cream. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having potato chips. But you just can't eat the whole bag. You know, you got to pick and choose of what you want. And I think that's really kind of important. So 20 minutes of exercise and listen to good music. Listen to good music, either on your phone or your iPod, whatever you decide that you want to do. But I think that's really kind of important. And then your one-page plan, list your top 5 that you're going to get done, and then your little 5. So your big 5, you know, which I'm the best in the morning. That's why I do these, is in the morning. After 3, 4 o'clock, I start to dwindle a little bit. So I just jump right back into it, and I start working my 5 a.m. club, and I work myself right up to peak performance. I have to, you know, read a lease. If I got to talk to somebody, if it's harder negotiations, then I'll focus on the morning than I will in the afternoon, because I start to slide down. So you got to determine whether you're an AM person or a PM person, and there's not a right or a wrong. So I want you to really think about that. Are you an AM person, or are you a PM person? Okay, that's something to really think about. Okay. So you got to start strong, got to finish strong. So 20 minutes of exercises, eating good food, having a good diet, and then your last 20 minutes, so 20, I call it HOP, H-O-P, hour power, and your last 20 minutes is for gratefulness and gratitude. We might forget about that. You know, I hope some of you don't forget about that, what you're grateful for. It could be your children, it could be your spouse, it could be your girlfriend, it could be your boyfriend, it could be your parents, it could be your job, it's the people you work with or work for, or the people that work for you. So it could be a variety of things, but really ask yourself, what are you grateful for? When you're grateful, you're rich. Gratefulness erases fear, you know what I mean, and the unknown. So it's really important to focus in on what are you really grateful for. Okay, so OP, H-O-P, the hour power, and I'm not sure exactly when you're going to start, but that's entirely up to you. I want you to monomaniacal focus. Now, monomaniacal, mono means one, and focus. So monomaniacal focus means you focus on one thing at a time. Don't try to focus on 2, 3, 4, 5 things at once. I used to do that. That used to be me years ago, and I nothing but tripped myself up, and I actually deluded myself. I wasn't the best at anything. Okay, so dial in 5 a.m. club, and then I think that's really important to monomaniacal focus. Okay, personal development. How can we ever reach our own potential if we don't know what we do well? So how can you reach your potential if you don't know what you do well? And I only want you to pick 3. I talked about that when I talked about Book Solid. I talked about every single one of you have what I call 3 superpowers. And I hopefully all of you identified what your 3 superpowers are. And that's really important. And you can't be all things to all people. I used to be that way, and no more. So now I just focus on 3 things that I do really well. And I've learned. I've learned to listen, and I listen to learn. And I think that's really important. Okay, personal development. And I want you to think about this. Success is not the realm of genetics. Success is the realm of practice. Okay, and I want to slow that down. That success is not the realm of genetics. Success is the realm of practice. So constantly and continuously practice your 3 superpowers that you do really well. If you love being behind the chair and you take care of your client and you want to ramp up your communication, if you want to ramp up your technical skills, that's entirely up to you. You should be going to some form of training, or you should be learning something once a month in your field, and then outside of your field 30, 60, 90 days. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you're a hairdresser or you're in another business to make another business tick. If you make Subways, if you make spaghetti, if you make rigatoni or ravioli, I don't really care. But be the BIW, the best in the world when it comes to that. So success is not the realm of genetics. Success is the realm of practice. And when you practice, make sure you have a perfect practice. Don't put a cap on your ability where the phone rings or you're on your emails and you're writing something or you're trying to do something else. Focus on one thing at a time. That's when we talk about monomaniacal focus. Mono meaning one, and focus, you focus on one thing. Okay? Personal development, stay committed to mastery. You got to become a master in your chosen field. Anybody that has really been successful and has really built a clientele, they've been a master at their craft. They can really communicate well. Their client loves them, and they do absolutely beautiful work. Remember, your autograph is on their head when they walk out that door. And even in this turbulent times right now, you can build your clientele, okay? How long does it take to you be good at something? Again, that's practice, and I think you should write it down. I write everything down. I have a journal. I have my calendar, so I write everything down to see if I'm gaining the progress that I want to gain. You got to measure it. You know what I mean? And I gave you this analogy before. If you want to know what team is winning, you got to look at the scoreboard. Whether it's baseball, whether it's basketball, whether it's hockey, whether it's football, they have a scoreboard and they see who's winning and who's losing. It's not any different in business either. You got to know the score. Okay. I always say, how long do you want it to take? You know what I mean? It takes 21 days to break a habit and 21 days to gain a habit. I'm going to leave it entirely up to you. What you decide that you want to do. Okay? And that's really important. Either you run the day or the day runs you. It's that simple. It's you have total control of your clients and of your time and of your technical work and of your shampoos, and you walking your client out the door, you have total control. So you either run the day or the day runs you. And it starts with you first. That's good leadership. It starts with you. What do you do for that first hour? Do you write in your journal? Do you do your big five? What are your big five? Do you do your little five because your little fives lead up to your big five? You know what I mean? What do you do in the morning? I don't know. So you're either going to run the day or the day's going to run you. There's no question about it. How the people who make the most money, okay, and I believe that they have certain common denominators, the people that make the same amount of money. And I want to share this with you, and I want you to think about it when I talk about do they make the most money? And I want you to think about this for a second, okay? Do they have better personalities and attitude? They make the most money. So do they have a better personality? Do they have a better attitude than you? Are they in control of their physiology, meaning their body language, the way they move, the way they walk? Are you putting food in your body that's driving you, that's giving you the energy, that's giving you the passion, that's giving you the sustainability? Are they a genius at what they do? Are they really good with color? Are they really good with scissor over comb? Are they really good with female cuts? Are they really good with updos? And it's just like anybody else out there that's listening to this. You could be videotaping podcasts, or you could be doing something that's really making you unique. You could be a painter. You could be a wallpaper hanger. I don't know. But be the best at what you do. Electrician, a plumber, HVAC, wherever it might be the best of the best of the best. Okay? You have more energy and passion and drive than anybody else. Okay? And then are more focused, and they understand time management. And I want you to understand time management, especially when you come back. That was a big challenge for us. We started today, and the challenge was time management. How do we manage our clients? How do we go from the styling station to the receptionist to out the front door, and then calling the next client, having them come in and staying the receptionist and setting up. So all these things are big factors. Okay, so have they better personality and attitude? Are they in control of their physiology? Are they a genius at what they do, and have more energy, passion, and drive? And are they more focused? And what about time management? I think that's really a big factor. Motivation is real simple, and that's the level of your expectations, that's going to motivate you to get there. You get demotivated by doing the same thing again and again and again and again. And you don't fire up your creativity. You don't continue to grow. You don't continue to develop. And I don't care what you're in. You could be a speaker and you can do the same talk again and again and again, the same material. But you've got to find different avenues of, incorporating new material into your presentation. And it doesn't have to be, you got to change the whole thing. You might just want to change one or two things. But it's the same thing with hairdressers. Hairdressers don't burn up, they burn out. And repetition is caused by doing the same thing again and again and again and again. That's where the motivation comes in. Motivation will keep you there, okay? And it'll keep you alive. It'll keep you excited. It'll keep you doing what you're doing and being the best at what you be. And that's BIW, being the best in the world, you know what I mean, of what you do. So staying motivated is a big factor. And, you know, a lot of times people don't stay motivated. You know, you stay motivated because things become a challenge to you. And they become something new to you. And you try something new. When you already know it, you're not motivated. You know what I mean? It's really the name of the game. Okay? Never let your passion get cold. And it's the same thing as when I talk about motivation. If you let your passion get cold, then your motivation is going to dwindle. You're going to start to slide back downhill. You're not going to keep up the momentum. I don't understand why people are 2, 3, 4 hours booked. They're booked 3 weeks out, 4 weeks out, but then all of a sudden they lose their motivation and they treat every customer the same, you know, and you can't. You know what I mean? Every customer, you got to light them up. You got to put the stars in their eyes. You got to fire them up. You got to get excited about what you're doing. Every single haircut. Take a break. Take a time out. I don't know what you do. Go get a coffee. Go get your water. Do something, but keep yourself motivated. And motivation is a big factor. You know, I hear that all the time. You know, how do you keep your staff motivated? How do you keep this person motivated? How do you keep this person excited? You know, it's an art. It's not something that we just do. You got to understand it. You got to understand what motivation really is. And I know a lot of times we don't do that. We don't study it. We just think. And we just hear it from other people. You know, that's why we get motivated for a short period of time when we go to a seminar. You know, we'll hear speakers speak. And we'll get so motivated. We'll get intense. We say, we're going to light the world on fire. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And then after 3, 4, 5 weeks, you're right back to where you were before. So motivation will keep you there. But discipline and habits will really make you tick. And then in addition to that, make the commitment. And when you make the commitment, you do it when you don't feel like you want to do it. And that goes with exercise and diet and food and everything else. Okay, what drives us? And I think you already know this. And purpose is what drives us. And in addition to that, your outcome is your result. So you got to understand what your purpose is. So when you're first starting out, if you are building a clientele, what is your purpose? Why do you want to build a clientele? Why do you want to get bigger tips than a smaller tip? Why do you want to get $50 an hour? I want you to really, or a client, I want you to really think about that. So you got to know what your purpose is, and then you got to know what your outcome is. And for those of you that have been doing this as long as I have, I've been doing this for 47 years. Even if you've been at this for 5, 10, or 15 or 20 years, I think the goal is for all of you to think about your exit strategy, especially if you've been at this for 20 years or more. What is your exit strategy? What do you decide that you want to do when it comes to cashing out? That's a big factor, okay? Okay, marketing. And I want you to think about this because, you know, this is a subject that we really haven't really put a lot of emphasis on. And I know I've think about this, that 97% of businesses fail because people think that the business can run on their own. And I want you to think about that for a minute. 97% of businesses fail because people think the business can run on their own. And that's right back from you being consistent, of doing what you do every single day, of following through, doing an absolute beautiful haircut, beautiful color, beautiful ombre, beautiful balayage. I don't care what it is. The key is to make sure that when you're behind that chair, you're doing absolutely beautiful work. And I'm going to share some things with you when it comes to marketing, how important marketing is. And by the way, in marketing dollars, the dollars that you should be spending, whether it's right across the board, whether it's with social media or the social media platform, or upgrading your website and upgrading your design, or deciding what you want to do, it's 2% of your gross sales. So if you did $500 for the year, it's 2% of that. If you did $250,000 for the year, it's 2% of that. Now, here's my recommendation, and this is only my opinion. This is what I've been doing for the last 47 years of being in business, okay, that I've never advertised in October, November, or December. Okay, and those are our busiest days, busiest weeks, busiest months that we have, because it's Thanksgiving, it's Christmas, everybody's getting into the holiday spirit, and I don't think there's any reason that you should be raising your price. If you want to, that's entirely up to you. That's just my opinion. Then I'll take that 2% and I'll divide it by the rest of the month, and that's when I'll come up with a certain budget to have for my marketing, whether it's, like I said, it could be now it's the internet, now it's social media, now it's a social media platform. But the only thing I'm going to say to you is to be careful and always get 3 bids and make sure they're apples for apples. They're identical when you work with different, whether it's social media, whether it's, hiring a speaker, having a speaker come in, do your homework, call Nikki, call Paul.DiGrigoli, call whoever you want to call, and see if the prices are the same, and see if their content is the same and what you're looking for. I think that's really important. Okay, so when we talk about marketing, just a couple things. About social media. Social media is bigger than ever, and I still think you should spend a little bit of money on social media, internet marketing, and then obviously, you have your webinars, you have your YouTube, you have all kinds of things, and things are really free today. But just don't take it for granted. Just don't take it for granted. Just listen there. When I take a webinar or I go to YouTube, where I take notes and I write things down because I don't trust my memory. And there might be certain things that I like that I can apply to my business or apply to my own personal development. And I think that's really important. Okay? Marketing, have a fantastic product. I don't care what it is. Have a fantastic product. If you do a haircut, if you do a cut, whatever you might do, make sure you have a fantastic product. I'd rather have you take it slower and do it right, so people think that you're bigger than what you are, and people look at you and say, you know what, they're really professional. They really do the right thing. So have a fantastic product. I don't care what it is. It could be your website. It could be your social media. It could be your Facebook. It could be your salon. It could be your retail area. Whatever it might be, have a fantastic product. And you might start small. You don't have to do this all at once. You might stretch this out for the remainder of 2020 as a goal and break it down in those 3 categories. And I think that's critical. Okay? Marketing, one of the things that we're doing, and I got so frustrated, and we came up with our own product line. We have about 7 SKUs, and we're coming up with a new product right now as we're speaking. It's a hair thickener, and we're working on that diligently, but we want to make sure that it's right. We have about 42, 45 salons right now. They're excellent salons. They're really good salon owners. They're good people. They understand the game of retail. They really do. I mean, it's a big, big industry out there. It's in the billions of what they sell in retail. And our clients really need it. And are they willing to pay, that extra money? So, with our product, with the Paul Joseph line, it's almost about, I would say, 30 years in the making, 30 years in the bottle. I was behind the chair for 25 years, doing 60, 70 clients a week, and just listening to my clients and just learning. So it's not just a manufacturing company. It's somebody that's really has studied hair, studied the results, and all of it is biodegradable. It's never been tested on animals. It's paraben-free, gluten-free, sulfate-free. Very clean line. Very, very clean line. So much about that. Okay? Marketing, and I talk about this in my book Solid class. I talk about the wheel. And I did that class last week. But I want you to focus on 2 that I think that are very, very important. And that's referral and retention. So referral means if you really do a great job, that's your report card, they're going to come back to you. They're going to talk about you. And then retention is that you keep the client that's in your chair. Those are the only two that you really got to focus on that I'm concerned about. And I think my staff is, and I think the rest of the world out there, and tell me if I'm wrong, you got to focus on referral and retention. Everything else will come. You know what I mean? When you think about referral and you're thinking about retention and think about a new client, takes 4 visits for a new client to come in, talk about pre-booking, you talk about your 3 superpowers, you talk about your customer service, you talk about your personal development, you talk about PCA, per client average. All those stuff goes into the mix. But what your report card really is your referrals and your retention. That tells whether or not you get along with that person and you did a BIW, the best in the world job on that client. And that's the name of the game. Okay? And don't forget, I said this to you before, and I'm going to say it to you again. Every single one of you, the whole world, the whole industry should raise their prices in October. And not in any other time. That's my opinion. Once again, not in January because we're broke after the holidays. Not April 15 when you get your taxes back. Not during the summer, but October just before the holidays. People will forget. People want to look good before they go to their Christmas party and before they go back to their office and so on and so forth. Okay, so I don't want to get off track. Referrals and retention, the marketing, that's really important. Okay. And get customers to buy more often. You know, when you talk about retention and referrals, get them to buy more often. And I think they will. Don't forget, female comes in every 12 to 14 weeks a year. A guy will come in anywhere from 12 to 16 times a year. They'll come into your salon. So I don't know what your percentage is. If you talk to me about percentage of really trying to what to know of what you do, 70% could be women, 30% could be men, or you could have 60-40. 60% could be women, 40% men. But I don't know what your statistics are. I don't know how many men you do compared to women. I think that's a big factor. Okay. Okay, marketing. You know, the value experience is, I think, the difference between a $10 haircut and a $25 haircut. And I'll just use those two numbers. You can charge whatever you want to charge, but it's the value experience. People will spend money for value. And when I talk about value, and that is to create a raving fan customer so they will never leave you. Okay? Value experience customer is someone that you go the extra mile with, that you give them the coffee, you give them the soda, you give them a smock, you give them a magazine. You do everything in your power to make that customer's experience feel outstanding one at a time. You have a lot of people that you do every single day. You could call a lot of people. You can talk to a lot of people, whatever business that you're in. But in the hair industry, we do anywhere from 10 to 15 to 20 people a day. Just, I want you to think about one customer at a time and create that value experience for that customer. There's no question about it. Okay, when you think about it, marketing, research your client and their customer base. Okay, do your homework. Know their name, where they work, what they do. I think that's really important. What are their problems with their hair? And if you take away their pain, I think you have a client for life. What is the solution to take away the pain? Okay, what are the benefits to the customer when you take away that pain? Do they have split ends? Is their hair dull? You know, a lot of them have roots right now. You know what I mean? So I want you to think about that, and I want you to then to end up with absolutely touchable hair, beautiful hair, so they can think about it. Okay? What are the benefits of the customer, and then why should they buy the product from you? Now, whether it's you doing an updo, whether you're doing it's a men's haircut, it really doesn't matter. Whether you sell them product, make sure that it's absolutely phenomenal for the customer. Make your customer feel outstanding when they leave your salon. Okay, you must understand and appreciate exactly what your clients need when they do business with you. So make sure you understand what their needs are and what their benefits are. Okay, give them a reason to remain your client for life. I want to say that again. Continue to do what you're doing and make sure that they become your client for life. Understand the value of a lifetime customer. It's unbelievable. And, the reason why clients leave you is because of your personality. Some of it is not because of your technical ability. Okay? I want you to understand what your stadium is and who are the people that you're going after. What are the people that you're talking to on social media and Facebook and Instagram? What is it that you're going after? What is it in the marketplace, the people you're going after? And in sales, it could be a different program as well, and understand this. And I think it's really important for you to understand this because you won't get disappointed. I always say that if you're not getting 10 no's a day, you're not trying hard enough. And I think we get disappointed when we get like 2 or 3 no's and we get rejected. And you just got to keep trying. And that's your personality. That's your attitude. You just got to change your approach. If that doesn't work, change it to something else. If that doesn't work, change it again. If that doesn't work, we'll change it until it works. And that might be 10 or 15 or 20 times. A lot of times we give up too easy. We give up early. Okay? So, 30% definitely not interested in what you have to sell. 30% not really interested. And I want you to think about the difference. Definitely not interested, 30%. Not really interested. So that's 60%. Okay? Might be interested, 30%, meaning that you got to go the extra mile. You got to be willing to go the extra mile. Don't stop talking. Let them know the benefits and the results. Let them know you need this product in order to protect your investment because they spent a lot of money on their hair. Okay? So 30% definitely not interested. 30% not really interested. And then 30% they might be interested. So that's 90%. Think about that for a minute. And then you got 7% that are interested. They'll go up to the retail area and they'll tell your receptionist or tell the stylists, I'll take this, and this, wrap it up, let's go. They don't ask about the price, they don't do anything. They get it, they understand it. So 7% are interested, and then only 3% of buying. Okay, so I want you to really think about that. So 30% definitely not interested. 30% not really interested. That's 60%. 30% might be interested. It means you got to talk it up a little bit more, and you got to convince them why, and you got to teach them to protect their investment. 7% are interested. 7% of what you have to say and what you have to sell. And then 3% out of all of those, 97%, 3% will actually buy. Okay? So that's your stadium. What customers want above all else is to feel that they are in good hands, that they feel safe and they're protected and they feel that they're in good hands when they come to your salon. That's why they keep coming back to you again and again and again, because they feel like they're in good hands. It's not only the conversation, but it's what you do. It's the technical aspect that I think is really the big factor. Okay, people, and that's the business that we're in. We're in the people business, and we have a tendency to, we deal with people all the time, and when do you love people? All the time. So you got to create the culture. You got to make them come into your salon and feel important and feel good about themselves. I want to feel good about myself when I walk into a salon. When I walk into my own salon, I want to feel good. I want to feel welcomed. I don't want to feel pushed aside. I mean, you're still touching people. You're still allowed to touch people, and it really comes down to how well you engage yourself when it comes to other people. Okay? So let's talk about culture a little bit and the culture of excellence. Okay? The 100 best companies in America. When you think about the 100 best companies in America, is a great place to work. And why do people flock to these organizations? Why do they want to work for these companies? Is it because of the money? Nah, I don't know. Because of the money. But I'm going to give you 3 great places to work. Number 1 is they trust the people that they work with. So they're the ones that are going to give them the money when they say they're going to give them the money. If they work hard, if they focus on the client, if the client keeps coming back again, if they get referrals from the client, if they get a testimonial from the client, they really going to trust their people. Number 2, they have pride in what they do. They absolutely love what they like to do. And you can see it on your face. You can see it on your physiology, the way you move your body. Your clients can see that. They're looking around. Don't forget, they're sitting down. You're standing. You got to focus on the client. Your client can focus on everybody in the salon. So they know what's going on. And number 3, enjoy who they work with. So they enjoy the people they work with. And I think that's important. You've got to really enjoy the people that you work with. You've got to get along with everybody in your salon. They got a smile on their face. They're nice to work with. They're fun to work with. They're there when you need them, when you need their help. Some of you have been in this for as long as I've been in it. You know what I mean? And some of you have been in it less. Maybe some of you have been in 25 years or 30 years. But I can tell you this. It's enjoy the people that you work with. And I think that's really key. And I said this to you before. People don't leave salons. People leave people. And they leave people because they don't get along with that person. And I'm not saying that you've got to get along with everybody or you're going to get along with everybody. That's why we have different personalities, and we all have different personalities. We all have certain needs, we all have certain things that we're looking for. Okay, so let me run down the 3 again. So great place to work with. 1, trust people. Number 2, have pride in what they do. And number 3, they enjoy the people that they work with. So those are the 3. Okay? A team is not a group of people who work together. It's a team of people who care about each other. So each one of you got to care about one another. We hear a lot of jibber jabber. We hear a lot of talk. There's a lot of great educators out there that talk about what creates a successful salon. And I must say that it's the teamwork. The team is not a group of people that work together. It's a team of people who care about one another and they understand one another. And I think that's a big factor, is really understanding another human being. That's a big factor. And that's when the team comes together. Okay? U.S. businesses, and I want to read this to you because this is really, really, really important. Okay? And I'm going to slow this down. The United States businesses, why do they fail? So I want you to think about them for a minute. Why do businesses fail? And, it's a lot of the things that we talk about are the upside. We never really talk about why do they fail. And there's certain reasons why they fail. If you study them, you're going to find that a lot of these ingredients are in the businesses that actually failed. You get tired. You get preoccupied. You know what I mean? You're not focused on the prize. You're not focused on the target, if you will. Okay, only 50% of businesses survive the first year. Think about that. 50% of the businesses in the U.S. first year. Only 20% of those businesses will survive the first 2 to 5 years. A lot of you probably know businesses that only 20% of those businesses will survive 2 to 5 years. 96% of those businesses will fail within the next 10 years. 96%. That's a national statistic. 96%. Only 4% of the businesses will survive. Only 4%. And less than 5% of the remaining of the businesses ever break $1 million in their business. Only 5% will remain in business and break $1 million. 5% will survive, and 5% will make $1 million in revenue. Okay? Totally amazing. Okay? Now, I just want to end with this because this is one of my favorite sayings and favorite bullet points that I share with a lot of my audience that I think are so profound, and we have a tendency to forget about this. So I want you to think about this. As we become successful, think about this for a minute. As you become successful, as we all become successful, when we all have a different definition of success, of what we really want it to be. And I don't even know if you even really thought about that. Why do you want to become successful? You know, a lot of people are out there trying to throw a lot of things down our throat and saying, well, if you become successful, if you do this, if you do that, whatever. Remember what I said in the very beginning. It starts with you first. Once you get yourself right, you'll get everybody else right. And it requires a lot of discipline. It requires a lot of giving up. It requires a lot of time spending alone, because most successful people spend a lot of their time alone. But what is it? As you become more successful, okay, I want you to think about this for a minute. So as you become more successful, become more humble. As you become more successful, work even harder. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. And the reason for that is the more that you work hard on yourself, the more you can give back. The more you can give to your people. Okay? As you become more successful, care more about your people. Do you really care about your people within your establishment to create a culture of excellence? And we've heard this over and over and over again about creating a culture of excellence. And that's really to care about your people sincerely. I know a lot of you might say, I tried everything. I've done everything. I've given them all. And it just didn't work out. Well, it's not going to work out. Because everybody's different. Everybody has different needs. Everybody has different benefits. Everybody is looking for something different. But I don't believe everybody would jump around. It's a $45 billion industry if they all got what made them tick and what makes them run and what makes them go. And you want to create thoroughbreds. You don't want to create donkeys. Because some of you have donkeys. You know, you can do a donkey all day long, and where the hell are they going? Nowhere. And you can do a thoroughbred, and boy, they're going to run like hell. So you got to create thoroughbreds. Okay? Give more than anyone else. You know, it goes back to what I just said earlier. I know you've given, but you got to give more than anyone else. Okay? Work really hard on your body and your mind. And I can't stress this enough. You know, if you don't work on your body and you don't work on your mind, they go hand in hand. You've got to give something up in order for you to sustain your energy and your passion and your likability. If you have no energy, it's not going to go anywhere. You can't even think strategically. You got to be able to think strategically. You got to be able to think like that. Okay? Care more about your product. You got to care more about your product as you become successful. You got to think more about your retouches. You got to think more about your color. You got to think more about your flat tops. You got to think about more of your guy's haircut. You got to think more about customer service. Okay, so care more about your product. Your product is full circle. You all understand that. Okay? Be the best in your industry. So I don't care if you're living in Kansas City, or you're living in New York, or you're living in Florida, or you're living in California, make sure, or in Ontario, no matter where you're from, be the best in our industry. There's a lot of you. There's so many of you that are phenomenal at what you do. I mean, it's just incredible the amount of hairdressers that are just so good out there. And I know all of you you could teach me something that I haven't learned. And I absolutely love it. I have to tell you. I love it. Stay on fire. Here's the magic. And that's continue to have fun. You know, I go in and I catch 10 people doing things right. That's the first thing that I do. It's part of my vocabulary. I really talk to people and I want to know what they're doing right and what they're doing excellent. And if something is going left or, you know, a little bit to the left, or I'll straighten them out. I'll give them the ingredients and I'll help them make a difference. And that's really the name of the game. And they all want to feel important. They all want to feel good. They all want to make money. And I think that's the name of the game. Okay? So stay on fire. Don't get burnt out. You know, especially now, you know, through this Corona-19, now's the time not to get burnt out. Now's the time to focus on doing some of the best work. And, you know, you had 8 weeks to really think about your personal development and focus on yourself and really decide on where you want to go and what you want to do. That's important. I don't care what it is. Okay? So stay on fire and have fun. Nothing works unless you do the work. So you got to put the time in. I'm not saying you got to sit there for 2 to 3 hours. You know, put the time in and make it work. Okay? And that's it. That's the end of it. I can't thank you enough for all of you for being online, and for those of you that come online after you worked and you listen to us. It's about 1 hour now. I started at 11. It's 12 o'clock now. And I can't thank you enough. And if anybody has any questions, you can Facebook me or you can email me, and I'll help you as much as I can and give you the answers. And that's the best thing about our industry. And there's so many phenomenal speakers, and there's so many phenomenal hairdressers that are really doing it. And bigger's not always better. You know, if you stay with your one salon and make that work, make it a well-oiled machine. You know, if you are an independent contractor, then stay with an independent contractor. Be the best of the best of the best, and take care of your clients. This is a great industry. It's a $46 billion industry. Women spent well over $12.5 billion in color alone. It's going to get bigger, you know, in the next couple of years. So keep your motivation high. Stick to it. You know what I mean? I mean, we're going to have our fights and setbacks and obstacles and defeats and disappointments. But overall, you be the judge. And I can't stress it enough. Continue to have fun, because it's easy for us to get burnt out. And it's easy for us to not love what we like to do and start snapping at our clients and everything else that we do. So this time has been really good. You know, a lot of it, we're all bitching and complaining about the coronavirus. But for me, you know, I took a lot in, and read a lot of books, and, you know, I was somewhat quarantined. But I have to tell you, I learned a lot. And that's why I can share with you. And I want to continue to share with you. And I want to continue to have you become the BIW, the best in the world, and be the best in our industry, and continue to have fun. Okay? All right, so you take care. I hope to hear from you. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you for spending this time with me. And I'm sure for those of you that are back to work, hopefully you'll come back on and you'll listen to this. And now I got to think about my next series that I want to do, that I want to share with you, because I always want to give you something new, and I want to give you something exciting, and I want to give you something that you can put into work immediately. And you hear me say this a lot: condense decades into days, and then take days and condense them into hours, if that's what it took me. But I want you to go a lot quicker. I want you to do a lot better than me than I've ever done in my entire life. So, okay, so have fun. have a great week, and I'll see you next Tuesday. And I have to decide on what I'm going to do. If any of you have any ideas, let me know, because I'd be more than happy to address them as we go along. So thanks very much. Have a great day. I appreciate every single one of you, and I appreciate all of you on this call. And let's continue to ramp up our clientele, and let's continue to fight. And we love what we do, because we can do something a physician can't do, and that's we can make people look happy and beautiful about themselves. And that's what every single one of you do. So continue to do this, because we need you more than ever. Have a great week. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.